Great day, great day, great day. Come on in, you guys. Come on in, come on in, come on in, and we're going to get started. I'm excited for this word this morning. Great day, you guys. Great day. Listen, know that you can support us by sending stars, also by making your contributions to $Passionate Pursuit. Cash App $Passionate Pursuit. So you guys come on in, and make sure you share the broadcast. Y'all listen, we can ready to get into this word, okay? Because there is a word from the Lord. So y'all come on in, and while y'all are coming in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share. Great day. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Who's here and where are you tuning in from? Turn this down. All right, here we go. Share. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, one of the things about my recovery has been that I get a little winded. So if I get a little winded, I need y'all to just bear with me. Let me work through the process, take my time. I'm not going to be on long because this word is one that I feel like God is going to do what he's going to do when he's going to do it. It's not going to take a long time, but it's going to be powerful. So I just need you all to be with me, stay engaged, stay connected so that you can get this word and really understand the depth of what it is that God is saying to us in this season. So today we are continuing a conversation that I started on yesterday on the prophetic drive-by, talking about love and what love really is. So this morning, unlike normally God is a little slow. He ain't slow, he on time. I just be feeling like he be moving slow, letting me know what we're going to talk about or where to go and all that good stuff. And this morning he was very clear to me to go to 2 John chapter 1. 2 John chapter 1. Well, it's a good thing he didn't say 2 John chapter 2, because there is no chapter 2. But if he'd have said 2 John chapter 2, it wouldn't have been God. How about that right there? Right. So we're going to go to 2 John chapter 1, and we're going to get into this message. Okay. 2 John chapter 1. Thank you, Stacy. Y'all give Stacy a round of applause for just being so on time, girl. Thank you. 2 John chapter 1. All right. Let me pull it up. And the word reads, "This letter is from John, the elder. I am writing to the chosen lady and to her children, whom I love in the truth, as does everyone else who knows the truth, because the truth lives in us and will be with us forever. Grace, mercy, and peace, which come from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, the Son of the Father, will continue to be with us who live in truth and love." And I'm going to read another version of this afterwards, because one of the things about sometimes John's writing, he has a lot of commas and, separates stuff. So it's sometimes you can lose track. Okay. "How happy I was to meet some of your children and find them living according to the truth, just as the Father commanded. I'm writing to remind you, dear friends, that we should love one another. This is not a new commandment, but one we have had from the beginning. Love means doing what God has commanded us. And he has commanded us to love one another, just as you heard from the beginning. Now, I say this because many deceivers have gone out into the world. They deny that Jesus Christ came in a real body. Such a person is a deceiver and an antichrist. Watch out that you do not lose what we have worked so hard to achieve. Be diligent so that you receive your full reward. Anyone who wanders away from this teaching has no relationship with God, but anyone who remains in the teaching of Christ has a relationship with both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to your meeting and does not teach the truth about Christ, don't invite that person into your home or give any kind of encouragement. Anyone who encourages such people become a partner in their evil works. I have much more to say, but I don't want to do it with paper and ink, for I hope to visit you soon and talk with you face to face. Then our joy will be complete. Greetings from the children of your sister, chosen by God. Now listen, I'm going to go to the message version. Stacy, if you can switch over to the message version for me, I would appreciate it. It says, my dear congregation, I, your pastor, love you in very truth. And I'm not alone. Everyone who knows the truth that has taken up permanent residence in us loves you. Let grace, mercy, and peace be with us in truth and love from God the Father and from Jesus Christ, the Son of the Father. I can't tell you how happy I am to learn that many members of your congregation are diligent in living out the truth, exactly as commanded by the Father. But permit me a reminder, friends, and this is not a new commandment, but simply a repetition of our original and basic charter, that we love each other. Love means following his commandments, and unifying his and his unifying commandment is that you conduct your lives in love. This is the first thing you heard, and nothing has changed. I'm gonna stop right there because I want to focus. I want to focus on that commandment. You know, a lot of times people get caught up in the rituals, the legalism, the laws. And I love that John reminds them, hey, listen, I'm writing to you a reminder. Let me just give you a reminder. I'm glad that, we found that you all are living this out. But let me just give you a reminder. The commandment that we have to love one another. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do in the lives of people, but one of the greatest things that you can do is to love them. God has been challenging me on my love, challenging me on what that true love, that true unconditional love looks like, challenging me to look at myself and to evaluate my loving. When you understand that love is not about doing, it's about being. It's about expanding, not constricting. It's about opening and not closing. It's about freedom and not control. Then you have to kind of reassess what you've called love in the past. And I had to do that yesterday. I had to reassess my love. I had to reassess my agendas, my control, my manipulation, my attempts to guide and to direct, to dictate, consciously and subconsciously, knowingly and unknowingly, overtly and covertly. Just because it's covert doesn't mean that it's not there and it's not happening. Real love requires us to give freely of ourselves. Period. And the thing about it is, John emphasizes the fact that, Jesus gave us this commandment. This is not a new commandment. It's a commandment that God gave us, right? In fact, it was one of the first ones, right? So when the Pharisees and the Sadducees, questioned Jesus, and they said, well, Jesus, which is the greatest of the commandments? He said that you would love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And the second is likened to it, that you would love your neighbor as yourself. Love is what the gospel, the good news, hinges on. Now, let me say this. I told you all the other day in my live, I said, I'm called to the generation that has kind of walked away right? Walked away from the church. They've been disillusioned. And literally, I was having a conversation with my children here. And, my son literally said that. He was like, growing up, mama was just different. Now, listen, this is the thing. I was different, but I wasn't. And I want you to hear me. See, it's very important that we be honest with ourselves. I've been good at mastering pockets of my life. I mastered this pocket, right? But there was always this one area that I just couldn't get right. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get this area right. Why can't I get the relationship thing down? Why can't I get the love thing down? Why is that the thing that I'm struggling with the most when I'm so loving and caring and compassionate and giving? And God really had to show me me. Y'all, listen. There's a reason I love the Kirk Franklin and the Family song, Love. I believe love is the answer. I've spent my life practicing love. The problem is, this is the problem. The problem is, the love I can give freely to some without expectation, sometimes I'm not quite able to do that. At least I haven't been in relationship. It seems like in relationship, I want to guide it, control it, box it, package it, frame it, form it, so that it's nice and it's neat and it's comfortable and it's in my hands. I control it. But you don't control love. Love just is. And the moment you begin to try to control love, it's no longer love. It becomes tainted. It becomes perverted. God knew that in order for us to do the things that he needed to be done on the earth, to build kingdom, it would require love. Racism, what's the answer? Love. Sexism, what's the answer? Love. Homophobia, what's the answer? Love. Sin, what's the answer? Love. What we have a tendency to do is try to legislate, dictate, control, and manipulate to get people to do what it is that we think they should be doing, instead of empowering people with love. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with my granddaughter. Now, y'all, she's not biologically my granddaughter, but she could have been. Because God had to remind me of some stuff. This is what God will do. He'll remind you of some stuff, right? I'm big on respect, right? My son's big on respect. We're big on respect. Respect is a big thing for us. And she has a tendency sometimes to do stuff that's a little disrespectful, right? Disrespectful, right? So I had a conversation about respect and stuff. And I believe in conversations. I believe in having conversations, asking questions. Like, I believe in that. I want to understand why you felt like that was a good idea. What made you think? What were you thinking in that moment when you made that decision? Because I want to understand, because maybe I'm missing something, right? So we're having a conversation and we go on, and later I'm, doing her hair, and I'm looking at her in the mirror, and I said, if I was having a conversation, because she just turned 13, that's a tough time with 13-year-old me. This is what I would say. And I began to say things to her that I wish someone had said to me at 13. when you're going through identity crisis, when you're going through your hormones going crazy, when all of a sudden as a girl you're dealing with a cycle, you got all of these emotions raging, you don't make sense to you sometimes, and you just trying to figure the world out. You want a boyfriend because other people have boyfriends and maybe you don't have a boyfriend, and you're trying to figure that out. You want to be pretty, but maybe you don't feel like you're the prettiest person, and you're trying to figure that out. You're trying to figure all these things about life out. And I began to say some key things to her. I said, you know what? I would tell 13-year-old me, it's okay. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. You're going to make it through this. You're going to be all right. You're going to mess up. Oh, you're going to mess up. You'll be smart at the mouth sometimes. You are. But you're going to be okay. You got to learn to temper your mouth. But you're going to be okay. You're loved. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're worthy. You are enough. You're intelligent. You're incredible. You're amazing. You are loved. You see, at the root of all of that, we really just want love. We want to be loved. We want to know we're loved. God understands that love is key. Because if we love ourselves, we won't feel like we got to compete with everybody else. We won't feel like we got to be better than everybody else. Like there's not even comparison. There's me and there's you. It's me against me and you against you. Like it's never me against you. Society doesn't teach us that. So we live our lives raised in a society where it's always about competition, winning, being the best. And listen, I get it. I'm competitive. I get it. But rooted in that competitiveness, don't lose the love. Don't lose the love. Competition when you love someone is different from competition with animosity. When we begin to understand that if we just will spend the rest of our lives mastering one commandment, the commandment to love God, to love ourselves, and to love others. Wait, did y'all hear that order? I know that probably messed somebody up. To love God, to love ourselves, to love others. And y'all may be saying, but Dr. V, you know, it's Jesus, others, and then yourself. Now listen, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all something. Because somebody came up with that for an acronym doesn't mean that's what the word of God says. If God said, love your neighbor as yourself, who do you need to love before you can love your neighbor effectively? You. And it's okay to learn to love you. I encourage you to learn to love you. God wants you to know how to love you. Because if you don't love you properly, you can't love anyone else properly. So then I realized this is the problem. All my life, I've been trying to love externally, trying to love other people, trying to prove my love externally, and hadn't mastered loving me. You know how I know I hadn't mastered loving me? Because I felt like I had to earn the love of others. And if you got to earn someone's love, it's not unconditional. You can't earn unconditional love. It's given freely, like God's grace. You don't earn grace. You can't earn it. You don't earn his favor. You just have it. It is a gift, and not the way we give. Y'all know how we give a gift and then, something doesn't work out. You're not friends no more. You break up. You want your stuff back. The stuff that you gave as a gift, that wasn't unconditional. There were subliminal, hidden, indirect attachments to what you gave. And I just had to be real with me. And maybe I'm the only one. Maybe I'm the only one that's ever experienced it. Maybe I'm the only one that has loved like that. But listen, I can love you, but it's got expectations. And this is the interesting thing. Listen to this. Even with my kids, my love had expectations. And I literally would justify withholding love. Don't come over here touching on me. You done showed out. No, don't touch me. Okay? All right. We're going to talk a little later, but right now I don't want to talk to you. Withholding love. Now, if we're honest, it's a form of abuse, psychological abuse. And I never considered myself an abusive parent, but some of the things that we do, it's abusive. And that's real talk. So when we get real about love, it requires us to understand that love is unconditional. We got to know what love is. Our understanding of it has been flawed. Our interpretation of it has been limited. We have glimpses of it when we operate in it. But overall, many times we may find that our love is not the love that God is commanding us to live. My kids used to always be baffled. And because when their friends would come, their friends like, oh my God, your mom is so da 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 da. My students would be like, oh my God, your mom is so da 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 da. And they looking at them like, you don't know this lady that I live with, because I don't know who y'all talking about. But that ain't who I live with. Not to say that they would say that I was a bad person, but they experienced parts of me that other people didn't. The parts that I mastered, or at least thought I'd mastered, not as much as I thought I had. Looking like love. Oh, I love people. I love people. Will give people my last, but then be frustrated because after all that I've done, this is what you do. See, that's expectation. I'm sharing this with you because I'm praying that my transparency will allow you to be transparent with yourself. Now, you don't have to get on live and tell the world anything. I'm not asking that of you. But I'm simply telling you that God has been revealing me to me and revealing to me that my love has been flawed, particularly in relationships. My whole perception of what it's supposed to be like has been flawed in relationships. I didn't get it. I didn't really understand. And I didn't because I didn't love me. I couldn't love me. I didn't understand the need for me to love me unconditionally, without limitations and expectations, without saying, oh, I'm going to love you when you get it right, and I'm going to beat you up when you get it wrong. We spend too much time focusing on the negative and what's wrong and not enough time extending grace, starting with us. Because one day it'll be all done and we'll be in a place of judgment before the judge. And he'll ask us to give an account for our life, for our choices, for our actions. Now, because a lot of times in religion, love has been used to abuse. We do these things to protect ourselves. I get it. I get where it comes from. But let me say this. When are you going to stop living your life out of your brokenness and live your life out of your wholeness, your completeness? Real love allows you to do that. I'm grateful God has placed people in my life who love me unconditionally. I'm grateful because they allow me to grow. They allow me to be me, mess up, get it wrong, love flawed, and still be loved. So that I can learn how to love. Starting with me. You start with you. See, you ain't got to try to control my love for you. You learn how to love you. Because once you learn how to love you, once you learn how to give yourself the love that you desire, then you'll know what love feels like, what it feels like to give yourself grace, what it feels like to have mercy on yourself, what it feels like to embrace all of who you are. Now, I'm not beating myself up. I'm not proud, but I'm not beating myself up. You know why? Listen, the way I learned love was flawed. My perceptions of love were twisted through my life experiences, my environments, and the things that I witnessed. So I'm not surprised that my love was flawed. I just thought it wasn't flawed. See, that's the problem. I didn't realize my love was flawed. I didn't know. So I'm thinking, I'm giving these men this unconditional love, but I never really gave them all of me. All of my heart, all of my vulnerability. So did I really fully love them? Could I? You cannot give what you do not have. We spend so much time trying to love outside of us, never mastering loving us. And therefore, our love will always be flawed. I love God. And the thing that God has done for me that has really helped me in loving me is because he resides in me. When I love God, I got to love me. If I don't love me, I don't love God. There's no way I can. It's not possible. So we have to understand that we're in a season where there are no more, you just do whatever. It's not that season. God has given you everything you need. So you don't have to live like that. You don't have to. You may. You can. But it's a choice. So when you say, I've never been fully loved, then that means you've never fully loved you. If you want to see the transformative power of God move supernaturally through your life, start with love. Start with love. Ooh, go into a place where you love on God and allow God to love on you. Experience it. Feel it. That love that makes you want to crack open a vase of balm and just rub it on the feet of Jesus and clean it with your hair. Your Malaysian hair, girl. You know that's love. Okay? And watch that love transform you. And as you transform, watch your love transform others. You know what I love about my crew, my team, my riders, my kids? They get to see all of me, the good, the bad, the ugly. I get to be totally open, authentic, honest, and they still love me. They love me whether I'm able to do all the things I want to do or not. They still love me. And I love them. But I'm watching God perfect my love. You know, often we quote scriptures, right? And when we talk about fear, we say love casts out all fear. No, it doesn't. Love doesn't. Just like knowledge is not power, applied knowledge is power. And perfect love casts out all fear. Our love is often rooted in fear. So how it's going to cast itself out? It's the driving force. We're afraid. We're afraid we're going to be alone. So, we got to just find somebody to love. Anybody will do, right? We're afraid that we're going to sin. So we find someone to marry so that we don't have sex outside of marriage. We're afraid that we're going to get it wrong. And, we need someone to, make sure that we're getting it right. Perfect love. This commandment is not new. You heard it from the beginning. That you would love one another. But you cannot effectively love one another until you love yourself. Why would God have you love others and not love you? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You all, it's time for us to fully embrace us so we can fully embrace others. Flaws and all, mistakes and all, missteps and all. It's got to start somewhere. Why not start with you? Today, I didn't come to fuss. I came to share. I came to share that my love has been flawed. And my prayer is, God, help me to love me fully. All of me. The good, the bad, the parts of me that were broken, the things that, have impacted me in ways that I didn't even realize. Help me to see that. Help me to remove anything that interferes my ability to love the way you love me. God's grace is amazing. His love is incredible. He is everything to me. But check this out. He wants me to know. And he wants you to know that he doesn't love junk. You're enough. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're the apple of his eye. He looks at you and says, look at my son, look at my daughter. Let his love fill those voids, those things that your parents didn't get right, those things that in previous relationships they didn't get right. Let him show you how to love you fully. Experience it and watch it take over. Take over you, take over the world, so that we can love the way we're supposed to. Not based on all of these external constraints, but based on the promises that he's already given us, that we are enough. We are. Evolution, that's a part of our growth. He doesn't wait for it to happen to love us. He loves us, period. Whether we do it or not, as long as it takes us, all of that. So you got to understand that this is not the season to stop loving. This is the season to love more. This is the season to press in with our love, to go deeper, to stretch wider, love more people, be more loving, more caring, more giving, more compassionate, and really understand you can't lose loving. You can't lose. And if you feel like you can lose, you're probably not loving purely. Now, am I saying just stay in relationships where things are horrible and people are treating you bad? And I'm not saying that. There's love and there's boundaries, right? I can love you and still have boundaries. They're not either or, this or that. They go together. John, as he was talking to the lady and her children, right? To the congregation. And he said, I'm glad to see that y'all have been holding on to the things that, the Father has taught, the things that he said. Let me just remind you of this, though. I just want to remind you of this. Keep this one command. This one commandment. The commandment to love. Love one another. It's time to love. So, as much as my love has not been perfect, I'm praying that God continues to perfect my love and your love, so that our love can change lives, circumstances, people, situations, so that we can make the world truly a better place. In the words of Michael Jackson, I'm staring at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and I'm holding her accountable for loving her more so that she can love others more, out of her abundance of love, out of her overflow of love, and not from a place of lack. I pray this message about love has blessed you. I pray that you got something that you needed today. And I pray that you feel God's love. Most importantly, I pray that you take that love of God, that love that you feel from him, and love yourself so that you can really love others. Listen, if you would like to sow a seed into the ministry, into the work that we do, Cash App, $ Passionate Pursuit, Cash App, $ Passionate Pursuit, or PayPal.me/Passionate Pursuit. Let's love unconditionally, without strings. And no, we can't lose with the love we use, right? You just give it. You just be it. Be love. And watch how love transforms you and those around you. Here at Passionate Pursuit for Manifested Purposes, we want you to know that you are loved. Have an amazing and incredible day. Be blessed.